Back.
Hey everyone, welcome back to the Navigant Credit Union Broadcast Center. I'm Molly O'Brien, and we're going to talk a little bit about clean air and the impacts on health. So I'd like to introduce Morgan Folger with Environment Rhode Island. Providence is one of the most polluted cities in New England. That's according to a new report on air pollution. A 60-page report by the Frontier Group and Environment Rhode Island looked at smog and soot created by fossil fuel and power plants in the industrial sector, and this was all in 2015. So Morgan Folger with Environment Rhode Island, thank you so much for joining us. We appreciate it.
Thanks so much for having me.
So Morgan, let's talk a little bit about clean air and health impact. Talk to us a little bit about the findings that came out in this report.
Yeah, so our new report, Our Health at Risk, looked at the information from the EPA on smog and soot pollution across the country by metropolitan region. And it showed that the Providence and Warwick area experienced 48 days with elevated smog pollution and 112 days with elevated soot pollution in 2015. And so that's worse than cities like Boston or Bridgeport or New Haven. So we're one of the smoggiest cities, and unfortunately, we're paying for it with our health.
So when you think about this, well, let's just back up. What were some of the factors that went into this? So what are some of the impacts? Was it cars? Is it what led to these smoggy days?
Yeah, so the two main polluters are cars and power plants. So power plants from not only Rhode Island, but from across the region contribute to smog pollution. And then cars are actually now the most polluting sector in the country.
Oh, wow. Okay. So I was jumping ahead of myself. You said that we're one of the highest ranked, and we're actually ahead of Boston and Worcester. So when you think of big cities, you usually think, big cities, more polluted, but actually Providence had more polluted days than Boston. Why is that? Why do you think that's a factor?
So I think there are a lot of different things at play. I think one of the things that might be happening in Massachusetts is that they're having a larger shift to renewable energy and shutting down more of their coal-fired power plants. And I know here in Rhode Island we're doing the same, and we have the first offshore wind farm in the entire country. But we need to do more to address our air pollution and reduce our reliance on fossil fuels.
So when we're looking at what's causing these poor air quality days, how is this really impacting our health?
Yeah, so we can't choose to breathe air when we go outside. We're kind of forced into it. People who have asthma or other respiratory illnesses are cautioned not to go outside on days when there's elevated pollution. So that means you have to tell your kid who has asthma that they can't go outside and play with their friends on a dirty air day. And one dirty air day is too much, and it's a negative impact on our health. And to think that we didn't just have one dirty air day, but we had several throughout the year, is increasing the impact.
And so we're looking at both Warwick and Providence in this area, and you were saying both the cars and the plants that really adding to this. And so what can we do as we move forward to reduce these poor air quality days?
Yeah, so as I said, we just need to move forward to 100% clean renewable energy. We have a vision of a nation powered entirely with wind power and solar power and other renewable sources. And so we can continue to support programs like the Regional Greenhouse Gas Initiative, which is an ingenious program that forces polluters to pay to pollute and invest in clean energy and energy efficiency. So we can both invest in more clean energy and reduce our energy use in the first place.
So let's talk about that, the Regional Greenhouse Gas Initiative. Talk to me a little bit about what goes into that and kind of a little bit about how it works. Are we looking at, is it kind of like a cap and trade program? How long has it been going on within this region?
Yeah, so in 2005, the 9 states in the Northeast and Mid-Atlantic came together and decided to put a cap on their emissions and then have the power plants pay for the amount they're polluting. So there's a cap on how many auction credits are allowed each year. So there's only a certain amount of pollution we can emit, and then the revenue generated is given back to the states to invest in solar power, in wind power, in energy efficiency projects.
Okay, and there's a possibility coming up that we could actually increase the amount coming up, right?
Yes, so right now they've been in a program review for the past year, and they're still deciding on the future of this program through 2030. So we're urging our governors, and especially Governor Raimondo, to support doubling the strength of the program so that we can reduce emissions even more and invest even more in the clean energy future in Rhode Island.
And what are the downsides of this? I know California has this cap and trade program, and there were some reports that they were looking at an increase in emissions in some poor neighborhoods because they were looking at, the cap and trade. Are there some downsides of having this proposal?
So I think that the more energy projects we have going and the more energy efficiency we invest in, the more it helps out the people who are on the front lines and faced with more pollution. We know that people who live near highways and near the power plants themselves are facing more of the impact. So the more that we can do, the better it will be, not only for the people on the front lines, but for everyone in the community.
Okay, let's talk a little bit about what's happening both in Rhode Island and a little bit about what's happening in Washington. Is it essentially harder to get anything passed now that we're in an era where the EPA is a little less hands-on?
Yeah, so we are not going to be seeing much progress at the federal level. Unfortunately, we're going to be seeing attacks on our key environmental regulations. And so one of the things Environment Rhode Island is working on is to shore up our environmental champions here in Rhode Island, Senators Whitehouse and Reed. They already have been great advocates for climate change policy, and they're going to be facing attacks on the Clean Water Act, the Clean Cars Program, the Clean Air Act, our major protections for all of our environmental special places. So we're trying to make sure they have all the support they need to filibuster and block any attack that comes in the Congress.
And what are some of the other efforts that you're doing moving forward here in Rhode Island? Were you working with some colleges and some initiatives there?
Yeah, so as I said, we believe in the 100% renewable energy future. And one of the campaigns we launched in the past couple of months is a 100% renewable energy campuses campaign. So recently, Cornell University committed to 100% renewables. And so we're working to do the same here in Rhode Island with all of the college campuses. And we've already started to build some support at Brown University for a goal of 100% renewable energy.
How efficient is that, do you think, as they move forward in terms of that? Do you think it's cost efficient in terms of and timeliness? Do you think that's possible within the next couple of years to be able to make that transition?
So it's not only possible, but it's necessary. So we're seeing the impacts of global warming and climate change every day. We're seeing that 2016 was the hottest year on record, shattering 2015 and 2014 records in the years previous. And we're going to have a really hot summer coming up this 2017. So we need to act now. And college campuses are one of the places where there's a lot of people who are engaged in these issues and one of the highest users of energy in a lot of cities and a lot of areas. So they have the possibility to make a huge impact.
I read something the other day that Anheuser-Busch was committing to 100% renewable by 2020 or 2030. I can't quite remember, but it looks like big companies are making that transition to renewable. Do you think that going for the private sectors is a good way to go?
Yeah, certainly. So companies like Anheuser-Busch, as well as Facebook, Apple, and Google, all know the merits of 100% renewable energy and are making commitments. And we need everyone on board in this fight. So going through big companies is a great way to do so. We've also been seeing a lot of commitments from the city level, with cities committing to 100% renewable energy. So really anyone can get involved in this fight.
And just kind of as we're wrapping things up here, I want to get back to that fact that Providence was one of the most polluted cities when it comes to clean and healthy air, with 100 112 dirty air days in 2015. When do you guys start collecting data for 2016 and putting all of that data forward?
Right. So the EPA collects data on air pollution every year. And so recently the 2015 data came out and we compiled it into the metropolitan regions. So we're looking to do a similar report back on 2016 pollution levels in the coming year. So either in the fall or next spring, depending on when EPA releases the data.
Do you think with cuts to federal programs for the environment that studies like this may not be possible? Do you foresee that happening?
So there's always the possibility of losing a lot of the great climate and clean air programs that EPA is already running. We're hoping that this one will stick around, but we're going to be working hard to make sure that the proposed budget to cut EPA by 31% does not go through.
Okay, that's good to know. In the meantime, for people who have these health risks, who are at risk when there are pollution days, when there are dirty air days, when that smog is at a high level, what can we do to keep ourselves safe?
So you can monitor air quality data. There's several websites that show you real time every day, whether it's a code yellow or code orange day, and to avoid being outside. And the other thing is to just help yourself in reducing your own emissions, driving less, carpooling, and taking small action to reduce your own carbon footprint can help in the long run as well.
Great. Well, Morgan, thank you so much for talking with us and filling us in on what's happening with Environment Rhode Island and kind of the mission that you're moving forward with this year as we continue to hopefully reduce the amount of smog and polluted days that we have. I know that all those air quality alert days I remember working, and it's not fun when we have those, and really takes a tough toll on people. So thank you so much. Appreciate your effort, and let us know